Hello friends, looking at current affairs for 28th May, Sunday. The news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 18. There are a few more coverages on Sundays because of the extensive coverage in the Hindu newspaper. So the first news item is protests erupt as Wani's successor killed in Pulwama. So here in an encounter, the armed forces have killed Hizbul Mujahideen commander Sabzar Ahmad Butt. So he was the successor to Burhan Wani. You should remember Burhan Wani, he was killed in an encounter by the forces in July 2016, and since then Kashmir is seeing public protests and the situation has remained volatile. And now in this encounter, the successor to him has also been killed, and this has resulted in curfew being imposed in Srinagar and even shut down in many places here. The next news item is E-Migrate violates our sovereignty. UAE envoy calls flagship scheme for Indian workers abroad intrusive. So this is regarding a scheme called E-Migrate program. So this was started in July 2015 by the government of India after hundreds of complaints were received from workers, Indian workers who are working in Gulf countries, that they were suffering on the hands of the employers. So on this ground, the government initiated this scheme E-Migrate program. So this is the database which is set up. So this is a database initiative in which extensive information is gathered about the immigrants, their foreign employers, the companies in which they are working, the recruiting agents, everything is gathered up here. Also, the E-Migrate program mandates that there should be inspection of premises of these companies in which the immigrant workers from India are working. So this has been called intrusive by the UAE government too now. So even Saudi Arabian government immediately after this scheme was announced had called it, violating the sovereignty of the country as such and should be stopped. So this is there. So many Indians go and work abroad in Gulf countries, and generally they are blue-collared workers. So blue-collared workers means workers who are working in labor-intensive sector. So as opposed to the white-collared workers who work in posh offices. So here they are working in labor-intensive sectors like construction industry or even industrial sector, line production or transport services, etc. So this is the status. We have a huge contribution as such coming immigrant workers going from India to these Gulf countries. So if you look at the 2015 data, India accounted for 37% of the labor amongst the three countries, India, Pakistan and Bangladesh. Pakistan accounted for 44% and Bangladesh 19%. But if you look at 2017 data of the first 3 months also, the situation is completely reversed, and now Bangladesh accounts for 51% of the South Asian labor output. So what has been a loss for India has been a gain for Bangladesh. So this is also a point being put forth, because all this online information, it has to be put up for various Gulf countries, for the industries here, for the employers here. They may not be tech savvy, IT enabled. So then they would not prefer to go ahead with this and would get easily immigrants from Bangladesh as well. So this is also being highlighted, plus the issue of sovereignty which is being put forth by these nations as a protest is also being stated. So it brings in a lot of remittances too. So if you look at World Bank study, immigrants and remittances worldwide study which has been provided for in April 2017, India is the topmost recipient of remittances. So this is as such increasing, but now year-on-year decline of 8.9% was seen in 2016, which is the biggest so far. So this is also there. Then the next news item is fortified food for thought. So the Union Minister for Women and Child Development, Maneka Gandhi, she has made a pitch for introduction of fortified ready-to-serve meals packets. So these are being protested against. So what has been stated is also that under the midday meal scheme, there are various complaints coming in of unhygienic food being served, or problems which people faced, beneficiaries face after eating this food. There are some cases of corruption involved too. So if this is replaced by these ready to serve meals which will be centralized, so then the experts here are saying that this may be a recipe for further disaster. It will result in large scale corruption, because it will be private contractors which will be involved here. Private sector companies from whom these fortified ready to serve meals would be sourced will be involved. So this is also a concern raised. Presently with Anganwadi workers, the locals here, the the accountability can also be placed on by them by the beneficiaries, but when this is centrally sourced, private contractors involved, even accountability would become difficult. So these points are highlighted. Also, it is stated that when such ready-to-serve meals were provided in Africa in child nutrition program, it resulted in large number of children dying due to illness also. So this is there. What is being stated is the ICDS scheme has a budget of around 16,000 crores. So this is what the private companies are eyeing as a source of their income. So this is there. Of course, fortified food is good. Generally, food is fortified with vitamins and minerals. So that results in additional nutrients being provided. But then there are concerns as well. This is generally how fortification is done. Salt, you must be knowing, iodine fortification is done for salt as such. So these are some examples. The next is, with Nehru writing to its PM, Israel gave arms to India in 1962. So this is regarding an old record that in 1962 India-China war period, Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru had reached out to Israel for assistance, and Israel had provided weapons to Indian forces. So this has been brought forth here. So India also believes in peace, and Israel has also claimed that Jerusalem, the capital of Israel, also in Hebrew it means city of peace. So we are for peace, and also India and Israel did not have diplomatic relations. Diplomatic relations were established in 1992. So presently 25 years of diplomatic relations will be completed. So India-Israel relations are in the focus. Plus this article issue is specifically highlighting that even before diplomatic relations were established, we had contacts. So assistance was also provided by Israel then. The next is, India gives 500 million aid to Mauritius. So India and Mauritius have signed a maritime security agreement. So under this, even we have the Coast Guard ship Guardian, which has been provided by India to Mauritius on a grant assistance program. So its operational life has also been extended presently. Then there's another offshore patrol vessel which is available with the Mauritius Coast Guard, which has been built and financed by India, Barracuda. So this is regarding the India-Mauritius relations for maritime security in the Indian Ocean region, and also a line of credit. $500 million line of credit has also been extended to Mauritius now. Also, other 3 agreements which have been signed presently are one on setting up of Civil Service College in Mauritius, then cooperation in ocean research, and third is a credit line agreement. So these agreements have been signed. So this is Mauritius, if you see, it's close to Madagascar, this island nation near African continent. This is India, the southern part of India. Maldives lies here. Seychelles, another nation here. This is Mauritius. The next is, in Pune, panic over jobs on IT campus. So this is in IT park in Pune, Hinjewadi, which is a famous IT park here, around 2,800 acres huge. So here many IT giants are present, like Infosys, Wipro, Cognizant, IBM, Tech Mahindra, etc. So this tech park is presently seeing furor because there are concerns that there would be layoffs, means people would be removed from the employees would be removed as such from the organization. So these concerns have been raised, and one reason provided for it is that automation and digitization is resulting in these companies indulging in layoffs. Though NASSCOM and these IT companies are saying that there's no such concern, they are in a complete denial mode, but then even the IT employees, especially in the middle level, so middle level management employees are bearing the brunt of this initiative. There it is expected around 10,000 to 15,000 of them would be shown pink slips. Pink slips means they would be removed from as the organization. So this is the one concern is there, that of course the visa programs, the stringent visa norms which are there by various countries like USA under Donald Trump, even Australia, the 457 visa program which it initiated, which it scrapped actually, which resulted in Indian company employees getting visa becoming difficult. So here these concerns are also there. Plus another point raised is that IT companies now are adopting newer technologies, automation processes, even cloud computing. So this is reducing their dependency on manpower, and when fresh employees are recruited, they would be ready to work at lower scale too. So this middle level employees in these IT companies are facing the brunt, and they have also formed a union. So this Forum for IT Employees, this is an organization which has been set up. So unionization is taking place. Such concerns were earlier there in Bengaluru, and now it is seen in in Chennai also, and now it is seen in Pune now. So this is being spoken of. Then next is Indian researchers develop 3D bioprinted cartilage. So this is 3D bioprint. So we have done 3D printing quite often. So 3D printing, bioprinting is also done. For this, the raw material is stem cells. So bioprinting has this entire machinery in which the source material which is provided results in 3D objects. So layer by layer, the material is used to form the object as designed. So computer aided design, CAD design is also provided to the 3D printing machine, and as per that design, slice by slice, these layers are formed and then they are merged, fused, and the 3D object is ready. So that is called 3D printing. It can be which can be with anything, plastic, glass, etc. But now 3D bioprinting means the raw material here from which the 3D model would be developed would be a biological material. So this is generally stem cells which are used. So here also bio ink has been prepared. So this bio ink is used for this 3D bioprinting of a cartilage. So these cartilages are organs here which are there presently. Cartilages are very important because it results in arthritis when these are eroded too. So the ones present in human knees, they can withhold a huge amount of weight as such too. So these cartilages, they degenerate and then arthritis, joint related degenerative joint diseases develop. So to ensure that this cartilage can be replaced, bioprinting of cartilages has been attempted and Indian researchers have been successful in this. So these bone marrow derived cartilage stem cells have been used as in the bioink along with silk proteins and a few factors. Now reason is that stem cells, when they are used to develop these cartilages, as has been done earlier too, the cartilages formed are transient cartilages. So these transient cartilages means they would further develop and become bone cells. Transient means in the midway. So what we need for a cartilage is articular cartilage. So these transient cartilages, to ensure that they don't turn into bone cells, these other items are also present in the bioink, that is silk proteins and few factors. So they inhibit it from this transient cartilage from becoming into bone cells. So this has been developed by these Indian researchers. That this will be now further testing would be done on them. So next step, you can see this 3D bioprinted cartilage will be placed into the knee joints of animals to see that if it remains stable in the knee joint, is able to integrate with the surrounding cartilage tissues, and then it can be put into effect. So this is the news. The next is comet simulation reveals the effect of breath of the sun. So this breath of the sun is the solar wind. So solar wind consists of a plasma of electrons and protons which are flowing away from the sun at hypersonic speed. So these solar winds, their existence was first time inferred indirectly by observing the shape of comet tails. So comets have only resulted in their existence being known, that solar winds exist. So this comet simulation has been done, means the way comets move, that has been studied to understand the effect of solar winds. So how comets and solar winds interact. So comets, what are comets? Comets are called icy wanderers. So these are ice and dust particles together. So they travel far into space. They have a very highly eccentric orbit around the sun, and when they are seen by us when they are passing close to the sun. So these comets, they are known to have a small head like a halo and then a long tail. So this is the solar wind shown and this is the comet shown. So this is the particles available here. That's the core of the comet, and then this is called the coma of the comet. And then you have this dust tail and the ion tail which is there. So the tails are also formed because of the solar winds. So this is there. So now this simulation is studying how the comets and solar wind particles, the electrons and protons present in each of these, how they interact. So this is being studied through simulation. Also data is presently available through the Rosetta mission. So this Rosetta mission was a mission of European Space Agency which was there sent to 67P. This is a comet which was studied. Also Rosetta mission had this lander to Philae lander. So Philae lander had also landed, PHILA. So this lander had also landed on this comet as such, though it could not keep communication for long. So this was the Rosetta mission which has given information regarding comets. So simulation has been done presently about how these comets and solar wind particles would interact. So this is there. Also Earth's magnetic field, you can see here, protects us from the solar winds. So solar winds deflect here, and then when they enter into the Earth's atmosphere here. So this is very sublimated, very diffused as such. So this, what is seen here is aurora borealis and aurora australis. The lights in the sky, night sky, which are seen, those are actually the solar winds which are entering into the Earth's atmosphere. Then the next news item is a new combination of drugs for combating hepatitis C. So this is a study done by a team of researchers from IAS Bengaluru, Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru. So here they have seen that for preventing hepatitis C virus to be proliferating, what can be done is, along with the drugs which prevent the multiplication of virus inside the host cell, what can be used is entry inhibitor drugs can also be used. So they prevent the host cell from allowing the hepatitis C virus to enter. So this can be a potent combination of for treatment of this infection, hepatitis C, which generally infects the liver, and also if it spreads generally due to using of infected needles. So this is there. So this had been provided for that a combination of drugs works much more better. So this has been provided for through a study by ISC. Then this is the number of people affected by chronic hepatitis C across the globe. So you can see a large number of cases from US, Central Asia, North Africa. Here the highest hepatitis C rates are seen here in these regions. Then the next news item is, why is the sky blue? So this is a question that when we look at the sky, it appears blue. So we know that it's light, but then why is it blue? Because there is no color as such in space, a particular blue color. But why do we see the blue color? Because actually the sun's light is white light. So when white light travels to the Earth's atmosphere, it collides with various particles in the air. So then this results in collision of these particles, results in scattering of light. So this scattering is minimum for red light because it has longest wavelength. So blue light has maximum scattering because it has very short wavelength. So when this is scattered more, then what we see in the sky is blue light because it is scattered in all directions. So as sunlight passes through the atmosphere. So that's why the sky appears blue, because blue light has shortest wavelength amongst the 7 colors which are there, part of white light. So this is there. Also when sun is setting, low sun, or as such when we say near the horizon. So sun near the horizon, during those times we see the colors as such scattered, which are generally in the red domain, because here then it requires much more time for the light to pass through the atmosphere before it reaches our eyes. So in that case, blue light has shorter wavelength, so then it does not reach, but red light easily reaches, and that's what we see, the red color in the sky. So during sunrise, sunset specifically. So this is the reason being given here. Next is fighting infection with bioelectricity. So these researchers from US, they have shown that cells outside the nervous system also have this natural electrical signaling. So this natural electrical signaling, if this is changed, it can improve the resistance of these cells to life-threatening bacterial infections. So drugs can be introduced, administering of these drugs. This can result in and these are drugs which are already used in humans. So this can result in making the cell interior more negatively charged, and this experiment has been done on tadpoles, and it has seen that the immune response to E. coli infections and injury is further strengthened because of this negative charge on the cell's interior. So this is a novel way of tackling bacterial infections plus also strengthening the immune system. So this is called non-neural bioelectricity. So this is a study being done and put forth. Next is marine reptile fossil unearthed. So this is a new fossil of a new species, pliosaur. So pliosaur is a predatory marine reptile during the age of dinosaurs, and this fossil has been found in Russia presently, and this is seen that this pliosaur is one of the species of the type plesiosaurs. So these plesiosaurs are generally known to have 4 flappers. As you can see, it's a marine animal. It's a long neck here, and this trunk which it has, stiff trunk which it has. So this pliosaurs are also a type of plesiosaurs, a special kind of plesiosaurs, and they have this 2-meter long skull, which you can see here, enormous teeth, extremely powerful jaw. So they were the top predators of oceans during the age of dinosaurs. So these pliosaur fossils have been found now. Next is putting the brakes on cancer. So this is a study done in US in which it has been shown that biochemical signaling process that causes cancer cells to break away from the tumor and spread the disease elsewhere. If this is controlled, then it can result in metastasis being controlled too. So metastasis is a stage in cancer development in which the cancer's cells here. So you can see this is the primary tumor which develops. So what happens is this in the primary tumor, then later this cancerous cell detaches and this intravasation takes place, means it enters into the blood vessel, the circulatory system, and then through this circulatory system the tumor cell moves and then it sticks to the blood vessel wall, and then extravasation takes place and a secondary tumor is formed in another different organ or place. So this is called metastasis, means when the cancer moves away from the primary site and results in the effect seen in another organ, unrelated organ as such. So this stage when it develops, then it results in cancer spreading rapidly and the death also becomes imminent. So if this metastasis stage is controlled, it can result in ensuring that cancer does not turn fatal. So this study is being done now. So what the scientists have done is they have discovered a biochemical signaling process that causes this cancer cell to break away from a tumor and spread. So if this biochemical signaling process can be disrupted, then this metastasis stage would not initiate and then it would result in cancer deaths also reduced by a huge percentage. So this is there. The next is center confirms 3 Zika deaths cases in Gujarat. So this is regarding Zika virus cases. So there have been 3 cases of Zika virus in Ahmedabad, in Gujarat, in India, which were confirmed in January 2017 but were not made public till date. So 5 months after they have been confirmed as such, now they have been reported after World Health Organization published a report, member state report on its website. So the government has now confirmed, yes, there was an outbreak and now it claims that it has been contained. But public health experts are shocked that how can government keep the disease outbreak under wraps for 5 months? Because generally for spread of various diseases, government keeps on giving directives to prevent its spread. So this is a huge concern raised too. You should know Zika virus, it spreads through the bite of infected Aedes aegypti mosquito, which also results in other diseases transmission like dengue and chikungunya too. Then next is G7 leaders split on climate change. So the G7 leaders met for a summit presently, and in this summit, the 6 of the G7 nations, means excluding USA, were on common grounds with respect to 3 key issues. One is environment, trade, and also other is Russia. But then with respect to America, it stood isolated from the other 6 G7 nations because it has still not decided on whether it would honor its commitments to the Paris Climate Agreement of 2015 to reduce carbon emissions. Also with respect to trade, it has this America First on agenda. So protectionism is being highlighted, but now it is stated that at the end of this summit, USA was convinced, President Donald Trump was convinced to include fight against protectionism in the final communique which came forth after this meet. So this is a significant development here. But on climate change as such, the countries were split, excluding America from the other 6, means dividing America from the other 6. So this is stated. G7 was earlier known as G8, but since 2014, Russia has been isolated after it has annexed Crimea from Ukraine. So this is the G7. They represent the most rich and powerful countries of the world. They are have very high net national wealth and also very high human development index data figures as well. So this is there. Even EU is represented in G7. So the members of G7 are USA, UK, France, Germany, Italy, Canada, and Japan. Next is Bangladesh SEZ's India's list on May 29. So this is regarding Indian economic zones. So IEZs would be established in Bangladesh. For this, an MOU between the two nations has been signed in 2015 June. So after this, still the list of Indian companies has not been finalized and put forth to Bangladesh. So now it is expected this would be done. So even Bangladesh has made available land, identified possible locations where these SEZs can be established, also the Indian economic zones as such. And of course, the way SEZs are provided concessions, these regions would also be provided concessions like exemption from income tax, VAT and other duties. Even ceilings on FDI would be removed for them. Even they are be allowed full repatriation of capital and dividend to their source country, means to India. There will be no curbs on issuance of work permits and resident visas, even citizenship to investors and investments over a certain limit. So these concessions would be provided by Bangladesh, and Indian industries would be established here in Indian economic zones recognized as such. Also, these investments here would be done through the concessional line of credit which has been extended by Government of India to Government of Bangladesh. So this is actually even to address the trade deficit. There's a huge trade deficit, and means the trade relations as such, if you look at it, the trade balance is heavily in favor of India. So if you look at total bilateral trade of India-Bangladesh, it is $6.8 billion. But then Indian exports are worth $6 billion. So to address this trade imbalance, this proposal has been put forth. So more investment from India would enter into Bangladesh. China in October 2016 has promised investments worth $26 billion in Bangladesh. So India has also made a move to increase its investments in Bangladesh. So this is there. So now the companies, Indian companies would be finalized and the list will be provided to Bangladesh government for this Indian economic zones in Bangladesh. Then next is UK woos Indian startups to compete internationally. So this is regarding India Emerging 20 program, IE20 program, which was introduced by the Mayor of London, Mr. Sadiq Khan. And this has now selected 20 Indian tech startups, which are the winners of this program. So they would be wooed by UK, so that these companies, they would be provided all the facilities for international participation, alliances, business opportunities, so that they can be invited, they will be invited to London as such too. So these are the companies which are most promising companies which can expand to the international stage. So these startups of India are wooed not just by India but also internationally. So they will also be shown how they can set up the enterprises in London, taking advantage of its unique position as a global business center. So one of the companies mentioned, startups mentioned from India is Transcend, which aims to become a leading enterprise for discovery and development of targeted anti-cancer treatments. So such companies are being wooed by London too now. And the last news item is, don't ignore the adults in deworming. So deworming program which the government has, it's for the age group of 1 to 19 years children, and generally 2 doses of the drug are given 6 months apart. But now the government had announced that albendazole, this drug, would be provided to deworm children only as a single dose. So this is being stated against, because this single dose would not be sufficient. Children are prone to get reinfected. Plus another point put forth is, since adults are not included in this program, adults become the source or the reservoir of this infection, and then it continues to be getting transmitted. So this is regarding the deworming program. So here you can see it results in worms, can make your child anemic, undernourished, weak, and even too sick and tired to concentrate too. So steps have been taken for deworming presently. So for this also, the feces as such are to be kept away from. So this you can see, do not defecate in the open, always use a toilet, wash your hands with soap after using toilet, before and after eating, keeping nails clean, keeping surroundings clean, shoes, slippers as such should be worn all the time, clean water should be drank, food should be covered. So such steps have to be taken, fruits etc. should be washed so that worms do not infect you, and also deworming is essential at a regular interval. So this is being stated that multiple doses should be provided at regular intervals so that it is phased out, after which this exercise can be stopped as such. So this is what the experts say about deworming. So that is it. Thank you.